ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम नमस्ते once again everyone.
नमस्ते गुरुजी, प्रणाम।
प्रणाम। अपाने जुह्वति प्राणं प्राणे पानं तथा परे प्राणापानगति रुद्ध्वा प्राणायामपरायणाः। So we are discussing the 12 disciplines which Krishna calls yajna or yajnaha, which are very important sadhanas for a committed sadhaka to move forward in the spiritual journey towards moksha. Of course, all sadhanas are important, but self-knowledge, which is also one of the sadhanas, is most important for moksha. And all these sadhanas, as we saw, will be relevant for a sadhaka only if they fulfill two important conditions. Without these two conditions, all sadhanas will become mere physical exercises only. They will give some benefit at the physical level. There won't be any benefit in the spiritual level. And the first condition is God must be involved in all the sadhanas. Without Ishvara, minus God, there can never contribute to spiritual growth. As I said, they may give physical health, they may even give psychological health, but spiritual growth is impossible unless Ishvara is involved. And therefore, by using the word yajna, Krishna indicates that they all must involve Ishvara. They must all involve some kind of an offering to Ishvara. And in that manner, even regular eating, 3 times a day we eat minimum, it can become yajna if we are going to offer the food to the Lord and then eat. That's why, in our tradition, we do the pariseshanam, Om Bhur Tatsaviturvarenyam with Gayatri mantra. We are offering that food to the Lord. And where is the Lord? Lord is not somewhere outside. Lord is within you in the form of Agni, Jataragni. And you are offering that food to that Agni, Bhagavan, which is there in your stomach. And that is why we have to. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Sorry about that call. So even eating can become a yajna. And if we eat with that attitude, every morsel that we take, pranaya swaha, panaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, all offering to the God, that will help promote spiritual growth. And the second condition is, all of them can be called spiritual sadhanas only when the motive is spiritual growth. If the motive is material benefit, and of course, we can use many of these sadhanas for material benefit also, they cannot be called yajna. Even in management courses, they talk about these Gita sadhanas. But there, the purpose is better performance so that there is better profit. They also talk of intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, etc. All those jargons they use. But spirituality is not involved in that at all. There is no Ishvara involved in that. So even though you may use the sadhanas for material benefit, that cannot become yajna. They get yajna status only when the motive is spiritual growth. Therefore, two conditions: when the motive is spiritual, when the Lord is involved, then all of them can be called yajna. And in this verse, Krishna talks about pranayama sadhana, which is also a very, very useful discipline in spiritual journey. Pranayama is to be practiced for regulating the pranamaya kosha, the energy sheath, as we call it. And as I said, pranamaya comes in between annamaya and manomaya. And therefore, if a person disciplines the pranic personality, then it will influence both annamaya as well as manomaya. When prana is disciplined, physical health will also improve, mental health also will improve. And that is why pranayama is a very important sadhana to be practiced. As I said, even before every ritual that we perform, pranayama is to be practiced. While Yoga Shastra prescribes advanced level pranayama for attaining various siddhis, in fact, pranayama and Yoga Shastra can be used to achieve various siddhis. Ashta siddhis are talked about in the Shastra. In Vedanta, of course, we use pranayama only for gaining simple chitta shuddhi. Pranayama can give focusing power. Pranayama can quieten the mind and we will smoothly breathe. At present, we are not even aware of our breathing at all. It just happens involuntarily. Many times it is erratic, which gives no benefit. And we do not even think of it. Therefore, practicing pranayama sadhana becomes very important. Disciplining the pranas. The word pranayama consists of two words, prana and ayama. Ayama means to regulate, to restrain, to gain mastery, to discipline. So discipline the the pranas, the breathing, inhalation and exhalation. That is called pranayama. And in the last class, we also briefly discussed about 3 types of pranayama. Puraka pranayama, which is total inhalation, full inhalation. Then Rechaka pranayama, total exhalation, completely voiding any air in the lungs, rather, emptying the lungs. And then Kumbhaka pranayama. Kumbhaka, as I told you, was of 2 types. Holding the breath after inhalation, fully inhale, close your nostril, then put a lock here so that the air does not escape. Hold it for a few moments. And then remove the kumbhaka, exhale, fully exhale. The benefit that this kumbhaka pranayama gives is, once we inhale, there are a lot of gases which are there in the air, like most importantly, oxygen. That oxygen, we need to hold the air in our lungs for such a time that the oxygen in the air is absorbed by the lung walls. If we do shallow breathing, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, then the oxygen absorption doesn't take place as much as it can take place in Kumbhaka Pranayama. So that improves the efficiency of the oxygen levels in the body. And similarly, Kumbhaka can be practiced after Rechaka also, after exhalation, where there is complete emptiness and you allow the inside, the lung walls, etc., to take little rest, few moments only, and then you do the inhalation. So Rechaka, the Kumbhaka can be of 2 types, after inhalation and also after exhalation. And Krishna says here, different people practice different types of pranayamam, and all of them are yajna. So he says, apane juhvati pranam. This refers to puraka pranayam. That is, some people give importance to apanam. Apanam means inhalation. In this context, of course, contextually we have to interpret the words. Here in this context, apana means inhalation and prana means exhalation. These are the words Krishna is using. So he says some people practice inhalation pranayama, in which what is offered? Pranam juhvati. Exhalation, which means it is made non-existent, is offered. So in inhalation, what is offered is exhalation. Because when you offer some oblation into the fire, what happens? That oblation becomes non-existence. So in the inhalation, pranayama, exhalation is offered. That means what? Exhalation is avoided. It is what? Puraka pranayama. Full inhalation. Then he says, apanam prane. We have to supply juhvati. Rechaka pranaya or exhalation pranaya. In the exhalation pranayama, what is offered? Inhalation is offered as an oblation, which means inhalation is destroyed. It is made non-existent. Because when you exhale, you cannot practice inhalation also, isn't it? When you practice exhalation, inhalation is completely avoided. We can call it destroyed. Inhalation is the oblation. So this is the Rechaka Pranaya. Then he says some other people practice Rudva Pranapanagati. Some people stop both inhalation, prana, apana, gati, inhalation and exhalation. And thus practice kumbhaka pranayamam. We can supply kurvanti to complete the sentence. So, prana panagati kurvanti. They concentrate on kumbhaka, and kumbhaka pranayama is supposed to be ideal when the mind is too much restless. In fact, this pranayama gives a lot of peace of mind and concentration power. Of course, it's only a temporary effect. And that's why, even when before we sit for meditation, etc., we are advised to do some few times pranayama. So that if there is any agitation in the mind, they are all settled and the mind is able to concentrate on the meditation. Of course, if a person has got viveka to make the mind quiet, the quietude of the mind through knowledge is a permanent quietude. But what happens is, there is a problem in quietening the mind through knowledge. It's a sort of a catch-22 situation. Because to get knowledge, I need a quiet mind. But it is knowledge which leads to permanent quietude. So it's like which comes first, whether the quietude of the mind comes first or knowledge comes first, it becomes a catch-22 situation. It's like people, they say, if you marry, you will be cured of madness. And you can get married only if you are cured of madness. There's an anyonya relationship between the two. One is not possible without the other. So if I get knowledge, I will get peace of mind. And unless I have some peace, I will not be able to even do Shravanam. Therefore, initially we have to find out some grosser method to quieten the mind temporarily. This is called relative quietude, and pranayama will bring in that relative quietude. With a relatively quiet mind, we study the scriptures and then gain the knowledge which will give us absolute and permanent quietude. Pranayamena apechika shanti, jnanena atyantika shanti labhyate. So pranayama is like a first aid. What does the first aid do? It gives temporary remedy. But one should not stop with first aid. The very fact that it is called first aid means it has to be followed by second aid, isn't it? First aid makes me prepared for the second aid, which will give me permanent remedy. So pranayama is the first aid, Atma Jnanam is the final treatment. And he says some people, this also some people practice, and all of them are called what? Pranayama parayana. They are called pranayama practitioners. And it comes under pranayama yajna. And pranayama, as I said, means regulation of prana. And by regulating prana, indirectly we are regulating apana, vyana, udana, samana, etc. All the other four are mastered through pranayama. Digestion improves, circulation improves, excretion improves. So many physical benefits at the physical level, at the physiological level, we get. All the systems of the body, they show improved performance. In fact, this practice of Reiki and all that, that's what they do. They regulate these pranas, the pranic healing they call, Because if there is any indisposition, it is mainly because of the disturbance in the balance or disturbance in the efficient functioning of all these systems, physiological and biological systems. So what these people do, these pranic healers do, they identify that and then they bring that system back to its original functioning. From a Vedanta point of view, we are not very much concerned about that, but then it's a secondary benefit when we practice pranayama for the purposes of focusing the mind, quietening the mind, for gaining knowledge, for gaining chitta shuddhi. It becomes a yajna for us. Now the next set of yajna, Krishna talks about. अपरे नियताहाराः प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदः यज्ञक्षपितकल्मषाः. The Anvaya of this sloka is apare niyata aharaha juhvati pranan praneshu sarve ete api yajna vidaha. We can supply bhavanti yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Apare, others, niyata aharaha, of regulated diet, juhvati, offer, pranan, the pranas, praneshu, into the fire of pranas, sarve ete api, all those yajna vidaha, performers of yajna, bhavanti, become yajna kshapita kalmashaha, purified by yajna. So others of regulated diet offer the pranas into the fire of pranas. All those performers of yajna become purified by yajna. So Krishna has, till the previous sloka, talked about 11 yajnas. Now he talks about the 12th or the final yajna, which is called ahara niyama yajna, dieting. In the modern parlance, we can call it dieting, but it is regulating the eating habits, moderation in eating, and which is extremely important for a sadhaka. So discipline in food can also be an yajna, ahara niyama yajna. Many of us do upavasa, etc. That's also a type of yajna only. If you actually look at the meaning of the word upahasa, upa means being near. Vasa means staying. So upavasa means staying near. Generally, we understand upavasa means going without food. That's only one aspect of upavasa. That is not the meaning of upavasa, which means staying near. Staying near what? Staying near Ishvara. Ishwaram upavasaha. So, upavasa is a day in which I reduce all my other sensory transactions so that the time saved by avoiding those sensory transactions, I can use for my religious practice I can use for my spiritual practice like pranayama, japa, puja, etc. And that is why upavasa is not merely foregoing food. Because the definition of the word ahara in the Shastra is not merely the thing that we take through the mouth alone, not merely the food we eat. Ahara means that which is consumed through all the five sense organs. Even seeing varieties of forms is ahara for the chakshu. Similarly, varieties of sounds is ahara for the ears. Therefore, we must understand upavasa means not merely foregoing food ahara. It means panja indriya ahara, reduction of or avoidance of all inputs which comes from the world through the pancha indriyas, which includes food also. And the irony is many people on Ekadashi day or Shivaratri or Vaikunta Ekadashi, etc., they say we are doing upavasa. They may follow only ahara niyama in respect of food. But there will be no niyama in respect of other indriyas. Their upavasa will be staying near the television, watching endless serials, or watching movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime, I don't know. So many things are there now. We learn about it only when we go to our children's place. So, upavasa and keeping awake is not for an extra show of movie or a serial. It is meant for japa, puja, and parayanam, etc. Then only it will be upavasa. Forego food, forego all other ahara through other indriyas. Just focus only on Bhagavan, Ishvara. Ishvara Samipe Vasati is upavasa. And this ahara niyama comes in two stages. The first is quantity control. Krishna will talk about it more in the sixth chapter, no? Where he talks about quantity control. So we'll discuss that more there. But just to give you an idea, first of all, you decide how many times you want to eat. And once you have fixed that, make a rule that in between nothing goes inside. Nuts, murukku, chocolate, popcorn. In between nothing should go in. Eating should be only at stipulated times and that too measured. There should be no overeating. So the number of times I eat and the amount I eat is quantity control. Then after controlling the quantity comes the quality control. Gradually getting rid of tamasic food like meat, liquor, etc. Food that comes under tamasic category. Then gradually cutting down the rajasic food. And thereafter only sticking to sattvika ahara. Krishna talks about all these qualitative aspects of food in the 17th chapter. So 6th chapter, he talks about quantity control. 17th chapter, he will talk about quality control. All these things we will discuss later. And here what Krishna just wants to highlight is that we have got discipline with regard to ahara, all our pancha pranas. Pancha prana is basically the digestive system. the essential service for our body, as I said. For some people, this digestive system works throughout the day. In between meals, something to eat. I'm having coffee, so I need to have something to munch. Even midnight also, I've seen people, they go and open the fridge and put something in the mouth. In fact, very surprisingly, many people eat very late at night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock and all, which is not a healthy thing, of course, but then they do it. And one person, I asked him, why do you eat so late? He said, if I eat early, I will get hungry at midnight. Really wonderful reason. It's a psychological thing. They think it will happen. Maybe initially 1 or 2 days it may happen. But the best practice for a good health is eating. There should be a 12-hour gap between your dinner and the next meal. Roughly, I mean, it's a thumb rule, right? So if you want to have your morning coffee or breakfast, let's say at 8 o'clock, you must eat your dinner before 8 p.m. Then go to sleep, get up. We'll talk about all that, what you should do, how you should conduct your life. From a spiritual point of view, we'll talk about that little later. So, ahara niyama means the undisciplined samana prana, the digestive system, gets healthy. And once the digestive system is mastered, then prana, apana, vyana, udana, all the pancha pranas are disciplined by this ahara niyama. And this also Krishna presents as a yajna. And what is offered unto what? The undisciplined pancha pranas are destroyed by developing this disciplined pancha pranas. The unhealthy pancha pranas are destroyed by offering into the fire of healthy pancha pranas. So he says, apare niyatahara hai. Some people practice food discipline. And by this discipline, what do they do? Pranan praneshu juhvati. When ahara discipline is not there, all the pancha pranas, that is prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, become sick pranas, unhealthy pranas. Everything becomes sick. As I said, that is what they try to control through this pranic healing, Reiki, etc. And what they try to find out is what are the disharmony in the pranic personality, and they try to regulate that. But the basis is this only. So ahara influence the nature of prana, and when a person takes to ahara niyama, the sick pranas are converted into healthy pranas. And therefore, what is offered unto what? The sick pranas are offered unto healthy pranas. That means what? The sick pranas are destroyed, and their place is taken by the healthy pranas. Digestion becomes good, breathing becomes good, circulation improves. There is an overall improvement in both physical and mental personality. The feel-good factor, as they call, improves. And Krishna says all these people are great sadhakas. Sarve pyete yajna vidaha. Sarve api ete yajna vidaha. All these people who practice these 12 sadhanas, they are great sadhakas. And what benefit do they get? Yajna kshapita kalmasha hai. By these yajnas, they have destroyed all their kalmashams. Kalmasham means impurities. And in the Vedantic context, what is the definition of impurity? Anything that obstructs self-knowledge or spiritual growth is called impurity. Anything that obstructs spiritual growth is impurity. All these impurities are kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsaryadi. So all these impurities, including Purvajanma Papam and all the Prarabdha Papams, are all burnt by these yajnas. And once they are sort of burnt, then only the self-knowledge can settle in the mind. As long as these impurities are there in our antakaranam, they will be a big obstacle for gaining self-knowledge. So with this, all the 12 yajnas are completed. And then, of course, Krishna doesn't say it, but then we have to infer. A person can practice all the 12 or any number that he can afford. Krishna does not say everyone should practice all the yajnas or that all the yajnas are compulsory. A person can choose any combination based on his or her circumstances. For example, if a person has got a very delicate stomach, some people have got a very sensitive stomach. And if he or she practices upavasa, going without food, there may be an acidity problem. And because of that, for the next 3 or 4 days, doing even regular sadhana may become difficult. Therefore, we have to be very judicious. Another example is people having diabetes. Regulating food intake is compulsory for them. In fact, doctors advise have less quantity, more number of times. Eat only when you are hungry. So regulating food becomes compulsory. Going without food could lead to complications like hypoglycemia, etc. Therefore, one should choose the upavasas which the body can withstand, taking into account the age and other health parameters, etc. So it's not that all these 12 sadhanas are compulsory sadhanas. Each sadhana gives you certain benefits towards spiritual growth. Of course, our attempt should be to practice as many sadhanas as possible, subject to our health conditions, etc. And if the body cannot stand upavasa, Shastra allows. You can have fruit, you can have milk or just milk alone. You can have porridge, kanji. Shastra allows all that, especially old people. When they want to do upavasa, these things are allowed. What the focus of the Shastra is on self-discipline. So Shastra says what is most important, that you should practice self-discipline. You must not, sort of many people have got this let go philosophy, chalta hai attitude. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for them. This kind of a philosophy, chalta philosophy, is suitable for animals only. So let go philosophy means what? Whatever I want to eat, whenever I want to eat, wherever I want to eat, I will eat. This is not meant for human beings. And if a human being is going to have a let go philosophy, Shastra says it is an animalistic life. And Swami Paramatma says, if you are leading such a life, Bhagavan will conclude that by mistake he has given a human life to you. And therefore, in the next Janma, you will be back to Pashu, ass, goat, donkey, cow, elephant, etc. Of course, it will go by law of karma only, but it's just to highlight, Why this self-discipline is important? Because as I said, we are all born as animals only. Asanskaris, we are born. And then the samskaras as a human being are imbibed by us as we grow. And how do we imbibe those sanskaras? Through all these sadhanas only. And therefore, Krishna says that let a person practice any one of these yajnas in any combination. Such persons he calls yajna vidaha. They are yajna anushtaniyaha. And that is why the sacred thread ceremony is held to make one qualified for practicing these yajnas. And that is why the sacred thread is called yajna upavitam, yajnopavitam, yajnopavita dharanam karishye. If you look at it, it is merely a thread. But once you wear it, you will constantly be reminded that what you are wearing is a yajna upavitam for the sake of practicing one or more of these yajnas. Every time you hold your sacred thread, you will be reminded that this is yajna upavitam. So you should practice yajna. This has given you the necessary qualification. And if I do not practice any one of them, the yajnopavitam is made redundant. Up to a particular age, we can lead an animalistic life, no problem. As Swami Chinmayananda ji beautifully says. He says you can start as an animal man, but sooner or later, you should become a man. When you become a man, you practice one or more of these yajnas. And through these yajnas, when you get self-knowledge, you are converted into God-man. So animal man to man to God-man. God-man means a realized soul and not the kind of self-styled God-man that we encounter these days. Don't misunderstand. Because these so-called God-men associate so many frauds, cheating and criminal activities, etc. That is not what Swami Chinmayananda meant by God-man. God-man means a realized man. A person, there's no difference. Aham Brahmasmi was understood. God-man. Therefore, all these yajnas are glorious. But remember, these are not the only 12 yajnas. There are so many such sadhanas, so many such disciplines which are prescribed in the Shastra. These 12 are only sample yajnas. Krishna is showcasing to Arjuna. They are important yajnas. So in the next stoka, Krishna himself mentions about other yajnas. We will read verse number 31. Yajna shishtamrita bhujaha yanti brahma sanathanam nayam lokostya yajnasya utonya kuru sattama. He Kuru Sattama, Yajna Shrishta Mrita Bhujaha Sanatanam Brahma Yanti Ayajnasya Ayam Lokaha Na Asti Kuta Anyaha. He Kuru Sattama, oh, the best of the Kurus, the most exalted of the Kuru clan, which is Arjuna. Yajna Shrishta Mrita Bhujaha, those who partake of the ambrosial yajna prasada, Sanatanam Brahma, the eternal Brahman, Yanti, go, Ayajnasya, for the non-performer of yajna, Ayam Lokaha, this world, na asti is not there. Kutaha, how can there be anyaha, the other world? So he says, oh Arjuna, those who partake of this ambrosial yajna prasada go to the eternal Brahman. For the non-performer of the yajnas, even this world is not there. How can there be other world? So in this sloka, Krishna is highlighting the fruits of practicing these yajnas. He glorifies those who practice these yajnas and highlights what one stands to lose by not practicing these sadhanas. In fact, a practitioner of these yajnas should pay attention to many other aspects of discipline, which Krishna does not mention specifically, but they are very important. Because whenever we are performing or doing any act as a yajna, we must understand the prescriptions of the Shastra, how we can become qualified to do a yajna. And therefore, for attaining the fruits of these yajnas, one's life should be regulated in all its aspects on a day-to-day basis. For example, after a good night's sleep, the day should start by welcoming the sun before it appears on the horizon. According to the Shastra, eating or drinking is not the first job of the day. Unfortunately, for many of us, our lifestyles have changed so much and they are still continuing to change. And first of course, we do not get up early in the morning. We only get up when the sun is almost on the fully, risen, and we can see the sun in the sky. Even assuming that we get up early, what is the first thing? We want a morning cup of coffee. Even before brushing our teeth, we want a morning cup of coffee or tea. So eating or drinking takes place even before we welcome the sun. All this bed coffee, tea, etc. that we are becoming used to are all Western influences on our culture. Our culture is against all these things, switching on TV, reading all types of gossip, magazine, newspapers early in the morning. It's all against our culture. Shastra says start the day with prayers. Therefore, Shastra says one has to get up before sunrise. And the day should start with Ishvara Darshanam. Ishvara Darshanam means what? Darshanam of Surya Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is Pratyaksha Swarupam in Surya. Surya is a Pratyaksha Devata, and Bhagavan in the form of sun is coming to bless us. Bhagavan Surya is our guest, and therefore when the guest comes, we should be ready to welcome the guest. Therefore, a yajna vidaha, a practitioner of this yajna, gets up before the sunrise and before starting anything, consuming anything, he has to do his morning prayers, for which the person needs to cleanse himself first. Another prerequisite for doing yajna, cleansing. So snanam itself becomes the very first ritual in the morning. Person gets up, the first thing he does is snanam. Morning oblations, whatever is to be done, no. Snanam, cleansing all the internal bowel movement, everything. Finish it. Take a bath after that. Clean your physical body. Unfortunately, many people think that in winter season, it is not necessary to take bath every day because one does not sweat. It's all wrong notions. We need to take bath because sweat is not the only thing. Lot of dead cells, because a lot of cells on the skin, the body become dead during night. We have to clean those dead cells. Otherwise, they will form some problem for us, skin problems. There are some others who avoid an early morning bath. They will have their lunch and all and have their bath around 1 p.m. and all that, because then the weather becomes a little warm. Shastra says no to all these practices. The snanam itself is a ritual, it's a yajnam. All the dirt, all the physical dirt we offer as oblation. So that becomes a yajna. And snanam, according to us, has got twofold job. Not only it has to wash the physical impurity, which is only incidental, more important is that we have to wash the inner impurity, which we have gathered yesterday. Because every transaction that we have with the world gives mental impurity, mental dust also. We have to remember that in every transaction, we are developing either anger, jealousy, anxiety, frustration, etc., which are all inner dust we gather. And if we do not wash this dust regularly, we cannot say we have cleansed ourselves sufficiently and pure enough to offer prayers. Therefore, the snanam involves regularly washing our physical body, and parallelly, we have to regularly wash our mind also. And for that, we have got snana mantras. The scriptures give us snana mantras. How do you cleanse your mental impurities? In fact, there is one mantra called Agamarshana Suktam. Agamarshana Suktam, which can be chanted while taking bath. It's a prayer to Lord Varuna. The water will cleanse the physical body and the Sukta mantras will cleanse the inner instruments. One such mantra is addressed to Lord Varuna, who is the presiding deity of waters. Atyashana panadhyacha ugrat pratigrahat tanno varuno raja panina yavamarshato sohama papo virajo nirmukto mukta kilbishah. So this is addressed to Lord Varuna. When I take snanam, I address the Lord in the waters. O Lord, O Varuna. Yesterday I have overeaten in some business meeting. Overeaten what, or I have eaten what should not be eaten. Overeating is called ati ashanam. That's what he says. Atyashana, atipana. Ati ashanam means, he says it's a papam. Similarly, atipanam, drinking anything, is also a papam. Drinking anything which should not be drunk. Because drinking water is not a papam. Don't mistake. Yacha ugrat pratigrahat. I have taken varieties of things which I am not supposed to take from people. For all these papam, tanno varuno raja panina yavamarshatu. Sohama papo virajo nirmukto mukta kilbishah. May I be rid of all these papams through the water with which I am doing this snanam. So it is called Agamarshana Suktam. Sin washing him daily during snanam, and we are supposed to chant that. It's a little bit, the Suktam chanting itself will take probably about 7 to 10 minutes, including there is a prayer that all the impurities which are there in the water may not, have an adverse effect on me. Protect me from those impurities. So many prayers are there. And even if we do not know the suktam or mantras, it doesn't matter. We can chant at least some slokas which we know, or just even say Rama Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna Krishna, some Panchakshara mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, or Om Namo Narayanaya, or some Guru Sotra, some prayer sloka. The idea is when you are doing snanam, remember Ishvara, remember Bhagawad. Many people have this habit of getting into the bathroom singing film songs. That is not Shastric way of snanam. And so by taking Bhagavan's names, by chanting slokas, we can convert an ordinary snanam itself into an yajna. And after snanam, sandhya vandanam or some prayers, puja, parayanam is offered at the altar. If I do all these things and thereafter, if I break my fast, that is called breakfast. As I said, the word breakfast itself has become redundant because the word breakfast will make sense if you have not eaten for 12 hours. That's why I said, if you must have a 12-hour gap, that is fasting period. Every day you can fast for 12 hours, not consuming anything. But if you have been in some late night party, and youngsters, unfortunately, these days I see them. Morning 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, drinking, eating, all sorts of things. Where is the question of fasting or breaking it? In fact, many of them even do not know what is hunger. Because we have never given a chance the body to tell us what is hunger. So therefore, we are supposed to break the fast religiously after this yajna. And that food that I take, first food that I take after doing all this, snana yajna, japo yajna, all that is called yajna system. My breakfast become yajna system. System here means prasada. System basically means leftover. But here in this context, system means yajna system, means a prasada. My first meal of the day becomes yajna prasada. However hungry I am, I do not eat just like that. I do Brahmaharpanam, Brahmahavihi, or Eko Vishnu Mahadbhutam. Or if I do not know anything, at least I say Narayana, Narayana, Pranaya Swaha, Bhanaya Swaha, Dhyanaya Swaha. I take that food. I take that food with all complete attitude that I am offering this to Bhagavan. The Bhagavan who is there in me, in my stomach as Jataragni. Every meal should be taken with this attitude. If we do that, the meal itself will become yajna. And this is what the sadhakas take. And this yajna prasadam is called amritam by Krishna. Why is it called amritam? Amritam hetutvat moksha karanatvat. Since such a life will lead a person to moksha or immortality, it is called amritam. Amritam here does not mean a nectar drink, etc. Right? That amritam which comes out of that churning of the milk ocean and all. No, not that amritam. Amritam is moksha karanam. So yajna shishta is moksha karanam. Moksha karana bhuta yajna prasada bhoktaraha. Bhujaha means those who partake that. So Yajna Shishta Amrita Bhujaha means those who partake the meal, first meal of the day as Yajna Prasada. More we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.
Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi
Harihi
Om.
Om.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Dhanyawada, Guruji.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you.
There is also this Gangecha, Munecha, Saraswati Godavari, that while having a bath.
Yeah. All those.
Hmm.
Where you are invoking all the holy waters in the body.
Rivers.
And then when you are taking it is as though you are doing abhishekam to your body. So all this is all yajna only rather. When you bring Ishvara, in every act that we do, it becomes a yajna.
Okay.
So simple things we can do. We don't need all Veda sutras and suktams and all that. Simple things, keep on remembering. In fact, there are so many like Venkatesha Suprabhadam, small things are there. Keep chanting them while taking bath. There should be no other thought other than the thought of Ishvara.
No other thought.
That's very simple.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Lata here.
Yeah.
Namaste, Guruji. This is I think I've been listening to this past couple of sessions have been about yajnas, different kinds of yajnas and the 12 yajnas, and then I kept saying I'm not able to grasp how the pranayama can be a yajna and how eating can be yajna. Somehow things became very clear today with your explanation, Guruji. So have I understood clearly that yajna is in this context are different methods of self-discipline towards gaining spiritual growth. Whatever we do, they are called yajnas?
Yes.
They are yajnas.
What it
Okay. Okay, Guruji. And
that is what is the yajna is.
that's the yajna.
Spiritual. Where the two conditions, as I told you, should be there. The purpose of doing should be spiritual growth. Right? It should not be some other purpose and let spiritual growth be some additional benefit. No, not that. The main purpose should be spiritual growth and Ishvara should be involved. That's what it is.
Yes, Guruji. The two conditions should be fulfilled. And also this, in the same context, anything that obstructs spiritual growth are called impurities. So impurities and papas and sins are all synonyms.
Same synonym. Papa is what is the impurity. We have to get rid of it.
Okay.
In fact, all the rituals that we do is all aimed at this only, to get rid of the papas. The 3 times Sandhya Vandanam that we do, purpose of the Sandhya Vandanam is that whatever papa that I have done, knowingly or unknowingly, let that all be burned. In fact, that's why in the morning Sandhya Vandanam we say whatever papa I have done at night, that should be burned in the fire of Surya, Agni of Surya. Then Madhyanam, the afternoon we do whatever papa I have done during this period, morning till noon. Then evening Sandhya Vandanam, during the day, whatever I have done, it should be removed. So constantly the prayer is for removing the papas. Physical impurity is easy to remove. Put water, soap and things like that. Inner impurities, how are you going to remove? One is sadhana practice. Another is you keep praying for removal of those inner impurities.
So for ladies who don't, I mean, Sandhya is obviously for men. So for ladies is the prayers.
Ladies also, the prayers are there. At the end of the prayer, what you do? You offer Shama Prarthana, whatever I have done, remove my papas, that's all. Kayena vacha mansa indriyirva. Once you offer everything to Bhagavan, Ishwaram
Yes, Guru.
Arpanam, then you are getting rid of it from yourself.
Yeah.
What causes papa? Our actions cause papa, correct?
Yes, Guruji.
Once your action itself you have offered to Bhagavan, then there is no papa attaching to you.
Okay, Guruji. Yeah.
That is also a yajna only. You offer all the papas are oblation unto Bhagavan, it will be burnt.
Yes, Guruji. I just have one more. I think it's more of an academic question. As we said, as we were saying earlier, any yajna, it becomes yajna only when it is meant for spiritual growth. So our words yajna and yaga, are they different completely?
No,
Because we hear
Yaga,
words like
all
Kamishti
same
yaga
group.
and then
Yeah.
Ashwamedha yaga and Putra Kamishti yaga,
Yeah.
Ashwamedha yaga, they're all worldly.
So, see, yaga is a little more general thing. It need not necessarily involve a spiritual growth only. Yajna is at the individual level. Yaga is done at a social level. For benefit of the society,
Okay.
even for material benefits, yaga can be done. A putra kameshti yaga. It is done for the purpose of gaining children, right? Getting children. Material.
Yes,
It is not for putra kameshti yagam or ashwamedha yagam and all will not give spiritual growth. But these yajnas which Krishna talks about is all self-discipline.
okay.
So yaga you can translate as a larger purpose rather, not spiritual growth. Whereas yajna is an individual oriented for spiritual growth.
Okay, Guruji. Yeah.
You can understand.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But the
Thank you
root
very
is the same only. Both
Uh-huh.
means offering, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you all. We'll close and meet you next week. Hari Om.